Australian mathematics curriculum, two-way tables and Venn diagrams for probability. In this one, we're going to take an example question. We've been given a Venn diagram here, showing that students can take art, which is set A, or music, set M, or they can take both, or it's possible that they could take neither. We're shown that we have 80 students in this Venn diagram. The first part of the question asks us to show the information in the Venn diagram as a two-way table. You'll see it's pretty similar to part C, where it says show the information as a two-way probability table. So the two are very similar, but we're starting with question A. We're going to put this information into a two-way table. So there's our Venn diagram, badly drawn by me, and I've set up a two-way table. Now what we put in our table is the two sets. So we'll start with art and music. Now, from there, we've got a couple of options. What we'll actually add as well is what we call not art. That's a little apostrophe after the A, which means not in that group. And so if we've got the group M for music, M with a little apostrophe means not taking music. So we're a little confused so far, perhaps. Our other rows are just going to be our total there, and we've also got a total here. It will all start to make sense. Possibly the easiest of our options to put in is those students who do both art and music. You see, this column is yes, they do art, or sorry, that row, and this column is yes, they do music. So, the students who do both art and music are these students here in the art and music overlap. So I'll say, all right, I have 24 students who do art and music. In this column, I keep doing that. In this row, I've got students who don't do art. If I look for students who do music, because this is the yes, we do music column, but don't do art, that's this 16 students here. Oh, hang on a second. 16 students who do music and don't do art. So the next students we can put in are these students. They do art but don't do music. So they are in the yes, we do art row and no, we don't do music column. "36 who do art but not music." Now from there, we've almost finished. We just need the students who don't do art and they don't do music. They don't do either. We know we've got a total of 80 students, so we're looking for the total who do art, music, or art and music, and we're going to take that away from 80. So if we add up 36, 24, and 16, we have 76. Taking that away from 80, just removing all my marking here, I've got 4 students who don't do either. And that 4 can also go here in our Venn diagram. Then we can work across and down on our Venn diagram. For our totals. The total number of students who do music is these ones who do just music and these ones who do music and art. 24 plus 16, that's 40 students who do music altogether. Oh, sorry, I'll remove all my marking again. 40 students there. The total of students who do art. Are all the students in the yes we do art row? That's the 36 who do art and the 24 who do both art and music. So we add up 36 and 24, 60 students who do art in total. Looking at the students who don't do art, 16 plus 4, 20. Students who don't do art, 36 plus 4 for don't do music, these guys here, 40 students who don't do music. And of course, we can add up the total either down the column or across the row, but we definitely don't add them both up. And I've got a total of 80 students, which I knew. So we've finished part A of the question, asking us to put this in a two-way table. Now our two-way table makes it really easy to answer a lot of the next questions. We're choosing a student at random from the Year 9 students at this school who are in the Venn diagram. Calculate the probability that the student does music but not art. Well, let's have a look. We look at our two-way table. The student does music but not art. That's 16 students out of a total of 80. So we go back to our questions. The probability that they do music but not art is 16 out of 80. My writing's going to get a little dodgy here because I'm working quite small. 16 out of 80. For this, we'll probably want our probability as a decimal. So with our calculators, we do 16 divided by 80, and we get 0.2. So a probability of 0.2 that a student does music but not art. Let's look at number 2, art but not music. We go back to our table. I want the student who does art but not music. 36 students out of our total of 80. So we put that as a fraction. 36 out of 80. And again, we do our division. 36 divided by 80 to get 0.45. I'm running out of space. Question 3. Neither art nor music. That is our students who don't do either. Check our table. These are the students who don't do either. That's 4 out of 80. Go back to our question. 4 out of 80. Do our division. I've got 0.05. And very definitely running out of space. So you can see how we get those probabilities. The last thing we need to do, I'm going to leave the last few probabilities because we'll run out of space, is that we can put those probabilities that we get into a two-way probability table. That is, taking another probability table, still having art and not art, and a total, still having music, not music, and a total. We can put the probabilities into the boxes. So the probability that a student does music and art, we calculate the probability. We should have done that here. Go back to our table. Students who do music and art, 24 out of 80. If we do our division, 24 divided by 80, that's 0.3. So I put 0.3 in the probability that we do both art and music. We worked out the probability that we do music but not art, that was 0.2. So students who do music and not art, probability of that is 0.2. The total probability that they do music is therefore 0.5. And we could check that going back to our table, because 40 students out of 80, which is a half, 0.5, do music. We put our other answers in. We got art but not music, 0.45. So that's art and not music, 0.45. Get rid of my arrows. And we need the probability that they do neither. Neither art nor music, 4 out of 80, 0.05. Put that one in, 0.05. We can add up that probability, 0.45 and 0.05 means we've got a 50% chance, 0.5, that they don't do music. And that makes a lot of sense, because the probability that you do music and the probability that you don't do music has to add up to 1. The probability of doing art, add across, we've got 0.3 and 0.45. That's 0.75. So 3/4 of the students do art, and we could go and check that. 60 out of 80, that's true. And the probability that you don't do art, obviously then, 0.25. And that adds up to 1 as well. I'll get rid of my arrows. We might change the color of that 1. So we've made a probability two-way table. So all the questions that they asked for, we've done. So when we want to take a Venn diagram, like this, and change it into a two-way table or a two-way probability table, we take the set names and put them in our first row and column, and then we have the names of not being in those sets, put in the information, and get our totals. If we need to do a probability table, we're going to have to divide each of these numbers by our total.